Well, glad to be back in the Newzroom murder trial today. I'm sure you are too. Watching it, of course, along with us, watching what's been happening with the re-examination, the second turn of the prosecutor to ask questions of Tumelo Madlala, the witness today, and Mpumelelo Zikalala, the legal expert and attorney. Mpumelelo, good afternoon to you. So, as you mentioned earlier this week, in a way, Tumelo Madlala's credibility was really under attack here. There was the money he took from Netflix, etc. If you're the prosecutor, and he's a prosecution witness, do you start your re-examination by trying to rebuild that credibility, or do you just go somewhere else?
Definitely we have to, otherwise it's going to make his attendance in this particular course, in these proceedings future. The evidence that is provided is going to be regarded as something that can't be used by the court, and it's going to dent your ability to make sure that you're able to get that guilty verdict at the end of the day. However, the process of repairing starts with one, making him admit where he has made mistakes, that he was making a mistake. But most importantly, that particular mistake is an honest one, and there's no intention to mislead the honorable court. Secondly, this is the only chance in which you are going to get, or that the witness is going to get, where he's not really put in a box and said answer in a yes or no answer. He's given an opportunity to clarify certain things. So go to town in terms of clarifying all those instances that may have been misled before, or that you've been limited in answering. So it's actually your opportunity to try and save this witness and the evidence which is being provided by this witness. If you can't save the entirety of the evidence that is providing, at least save the salient points or the important points, so that at the end of the day, the judge can rule in your favor.
It's got to be quite difficult, though. I mean, there are different ways to see this. I mean, I think there's a big debate going on in our society, actually, about whether it was wrong for him to take, money from Netflix or not. I mean, I'm presuming that he possibly did it because he doesn't have other sources of income. And yet, I think for a lot of people, to sell pictures of your friend who's passed away, it's not really the right thing to do.
Definitely. But the most important question would be, all the things that us as a society would deem as being wrong that he is engaged in, does it really temper or have an impact in the truth or the credibility that is going to be in this particular trial? So if at the end of the day he accepted the money, yes, he did participate in participating in a documentary. However, it does not take away that what the state is trying to say is he is telling the truth now, and is what the court needs to hear, which is going to be able to make sure that the people who are in the accused box are indeed found guilty. So there's a distinction in which he must be able to find now. That's why I'm saying, admit in instances where you have erred, admit in instances where you may have been influenced by money, but state that my true intention and my intention of coming to this honorable court to give evidence, it is simply to tell the truth. It has no monetary value whatsoever. I may have accepted it. I have my reasons for doing so. But what I'm saying today and now is actually the truth and nothing but the truth.
It's been interesting to watch. Just in the last 10 minutes, we've had the defense lawyer on his feet, Timothy Tabane, the advocate, objecting to the line of questioning from the prosecutor. Don't lead the witness, all of that sort of thing. I mean, it's very American. But it really is an indication, I think, of the sort of bad temper that is around this. And I don't know if it's around the entire trial or just this witness.
It's around the entire trial, the way things have been done. You do get into court. It's a contested terrain. You are going to get contestations here and there, but I think these ones are on a much higher level. And the stakes are high in terms of the defense, in terms of the state. So you are going to find those particular lines being blurred. You are going to find a number of objections which are going to come from both or either of the parties. As you've heard earlier, the state, I think, stood up a number of times with African Mshololo was doing his first examination to say, no, we're disputing this. We're saying this can't be true. And at the end of the day, we do not concede to this line of questioning. But it is up to the presiding officer to then step in and say, I'm going to stamp my authority in this particular court. This is how we are going to do things. As experienced legal practitioners, you know what are the boundaries and the four walls of cross-examination. You know what are the four walls of re-examination. So you must stick to them. And in instances where I feel that you're overstepping the mark, the defense or the state shouldn't even jump up. I'm going to jump in first as a presiding officer and say, we are now overstepping the mark. Please tell me the relevance of the line of questioning and whether it is in line with the elements or the principles of re-examination.
There's going to be more to come tomorrow, and probably only until the sort of lunch break, so just a couple of hours. But I'm presuming that the prosecutors just want to go and do exactly what you're saying. He's going to put some full stops where he needs them, dot some T's where he needs them, cross some I's where he needs them, just to make sure that he's nailed down everything he can nail down.
Definitely. I think his raising that the court hours are finished today and they need to adjourn was simply him saying, I need more time to go and prepare. Today I came in, I didn't know the line of questioning which was going to be continued by Africa Mshololo. Please give me, tonight I'm going to be busy making sure that I'm able to put a re-examination question which are going to clarify what is required from this particular witness. Most importantly, I want to reassure this witness that in instances where you may have lied, you may have not told the truth, or maybe the words have been twisted around as if you are perceived as a person who is lying. This is the opportunity to save your name and make sure that you are able to speak the truth and nothing but the truth. In instances where you have erred, state so that you have erred. In instances where you have forgotten, state that you have forgotten. You are only human at the end of the day. You are not superhuman. But this is the opportunity to repair whatever that you can repair. You can either go both ways. You can either say they are able to do that excellently, and the judge is able to extract things which are important and go into those things which are not, or it could be worse, in an instance where his whole credibility could go down the drain, where in trying to save himself, he digs a much more bigger and much more deeper hole. And at the end of the day, the court will have no other option than to deem him as a witness who's not really credible, and his evidence cannot be considered in the decision or in the guiltiness of these individuals.
And Mpumelelo, I mean, I've seen it happen in court, I'm sure you have, where after the re-examination, the other side sort of wants, yet another go. It seems to me with the temper that we've seen, that could happen again. That, in fact, Zandile Mshololo and Timothy Tabane may well want more questions right at the end.
Definitely. I think it's going to start from now during re-examination, where maybe more information could then suffice, or maybe in the line of re-examination there could be new questions that may be sneaked in. There may be a whole argument to say that it wasn't asked earlier, however it has been answered, so we must be given an opportunity to respond to it. Another dynamic is that you are dealing with two defense legal representatives in this matter. So you may find that in the course of cross-examination of Africa Mshololo, the first defense legal representative will then say, I want certain clarities when it comes to this particular fact. This is the only chance in which I'm going to have to deal with this particular witness's evidence. So if you close the door and I don't ask these particular questions, my instructions are that I must be able to ask these questions to him. So please give me an opportunity to do that before we close the door in terms of the cross-examination and any type of the testing of the evidence of this particular witness. You may find another application which is going to come from both parties saying that we want to reopen cross-examination, and the state again would say, if you are going to reopen cross-examination, then allow us to re-examine again, because we want to make sure that everything is being put across in its proper context and perspective, and nothing has been turned around or its context has been sort of put across in a way in which it was not intended to be put across.
Mpumelelo, Zikalala, always good to talk. Thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate your view. Well.